Hi y'all, welcome to the Missy Studio. Time for another turn talk. Let's talk about wood choice or wood selection. Where are you going to get your wood? Before we talk about wood choice and wood selection, let me just say this. I've read and heard from many turners, life's too short to turn crappy wood. And there's merit to that. There is. But as the old adage goes, one man's junk is another man's treasure. The same can be said for turning stock. Now, yes, you can spend literally hundreds and thousands of dollars going to places that sell pristine, kiln-dried turning stock. I can't afford to do that. I've got a few pieces that I bought on what I thought were a good deal on eBay years ago that I haven't turned yet. But by and large, my selection comes from what people give me. And often what people give me is because it either fell down because of weather, or it came down because it was dead, or I cut it down because it was dead. A lot of the stuff that I turn, I get most of my wood for free. People know I turn and they know I work with wood, and they say, hey, come get this thing out of my yard. So I gladly get in my truck and go do it. And if you look around and contact some of the tree services in your area, take a small box with you or something that you've turned and give it to them in trade for some of the stuff that they've got. Take it home and process it, get it ready to turn. That works too. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on turning stock if you really don't want to or don't have it within your means, and I don't. Every now and then I will go buy a rough cut board of exotic from someplace like Houston Hardwoods or San Antonio Hardwoods, because I'm working on a segmented piece that I really want that specific species for. But more often than not, I stick with the stuff that I have. Now, I know turners that wouldn't touch some of the stuff that I've got with a 10-foot pole, and that's okay. If I see something with a ring shake in it, for example, I won't mess with that either. But by refusing to look at woods that have a few what other people consider flaws, I consider character. You cheat yourself out of things like this live oak burl that I haven't quite finished yet. I got the outside turned and mostly finished. I've got the inside turned and finished. I'm waiting for the lacquer to cure, a few more days yet. I filled all of the voids. I mean, there was a ton of bark inclusions in this burl, and I took them out. What wouldn't come out with a pick, I took them out with a Dremel tool, and then I filled these voids with blue colored epoxy. Some of them go all the way through. But this is a gorgeous piece of live oak burl, and I wouldn't have missed turning it for the world. It really wasn't that difficult. Had one punky spot, and believe it or not, it was right here in the bottom. And if you've seen my latest quick tip, I stabilized this with CA, and the CA went through the bottom and froze my chuck up. So my tip shows you how to fix that. So, is this crappy wood? Not in my book, but it is in some others, and that's fine. Another piece of crappy wood. This thing had a pretty good check, you can see. This is Spalted Blackjack Oak. You can see this check that's running right here, and it had some wormholes in it. Had another check right here. I filled all of those with colored epoxy. Most of them didn't go all the way through. This one did. You can see it. Now here's another one. It didn't go all the way through. It didn't show on the other side. So, and I left a little bit of the natural edge. But this piece was it was, in my mind's eye, your mileage may vary, this was too pretty a piece to throw in the smoking pile, meaning my oak stack that I smoke brisket and stuff with. I just couldn't. It was a crotch, and I like the figure in it, and I think it's got a lot of character. And this same holds true for this hickory crotch. It is, if you can see these light colored areas, this is flame, from the crotch, and I turned it natural edge so you get a heart shape out of it. And I'll be doing its brother because I split the log this way and I've got it over there, and I'm going to do it in the next few days. But if you look at the back of this, you can see where this tree, a friend of mine called me and said, come get a hickory. The tree was only about 8 inches in diameter and it was dead. It was just absolutely eaten up with carpenter ants. I didn't know that until I cut it down and they came flooding out the bottom. But all of these, most of these tracks are from carpenter ants. Some of them are from the longhorn borer beetle that we have in this part of the country. But I stabilized all of the residue left behind by the insects with CA, and I think it made a pretty little bowl. Dish, whatever you want to call it.
But then you have to fill all those voids and clean out the bug poop and then fill those voids. That takes time.
You're absolutely right. It does take time to fill the voids and let that cure. But sometimes I don't fill them at all. Al Furtado very seldom fills his voids. He just leaves it natural the way it is. I do too sometimes. But even on the pieces where I do fill the voids with either epoxy or sawdust and CA, whatever I use, I've never had a problem getting the extra money out of the piece to make up the difference. To me, it's a wash. I think it adds a lot of character. So do a lot of my customers. They pay a little bit more for it because it takes more time. But that choice is yours to make. You can choose to avoid woods that you have to work on and fill, or you can turn them. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you one way or another what's best. That's not my job. My job is to show you what I do. Well, if that's a job, my choice, how about that, is to show you what I do and how I do it. That's all. So what's the point I'm trying to make here? Honestly, what I'm trying to say is, if you have the wherewithal to go out and spend a lot of money on pristine blanks, by all means do so. For those of you that are like me and don't have that opportunity or that privilege, there are other options. Stuff that people are cutting down. Once people find out what you do, they'll offer you wood. Not all of the wood that I get offered is riddled with insect holes or wormholes or bore holes or even checks. If you process it quick enough, you get some nice wood. And I have some of that. I've got some walnut that came from Katrina that my brother cut off of a house when he went to help those people out, and he brought it back for me. I have a beautiful large piece of live oak burl that I haven't got around to, and I mean large, this thing's like 3 feet around. I haven't got around to doing anything with that yet because I haven't figured out what I want to do with it, and I don't have a core, and I'm not about to waste any more of that burl than I have to. I don't have a core yet. I will get a coring system, I just don't have one right now. This is why I'm not touching my walnut from Katrina. I've got a bunch of blackjack oak in my shed with all my other wood that there's nothing wrong with. I've got some Weisach in there that's beautiful, nothing wrong with it either. Again, I need a coring system before I attack that piece of wood because it's too pretty to dump on the floor. So there are options out there. You can get good quality wood, local stuff, but you can get good quality woods and different species: oak, mesquite, hickory, pecan, magnolia, mulberry, catalpa. It's a little soft, and it don't smell real good, but it's got some pretty grain in it. So, and that's just a few. I mean, up in the Northwest, there's yew and there's olive wood that I would love to be able to get my hands on. I love turning olive wood. The smell is amazing. There's also some people locally grow camphor, and you can get some of that once in a while. Eucalyptus is another tree that a lot of people grow locally, and you can get a hold of, and it turns beautifully. So there are options without breaking the bank and running off to the hardwood store every time you want some turning stock. Check out eBay every now and then. You can find some pretty decent deals on some nice little wood blanks. But you've got to be careful, because sometimes you don't exactly get what you're expecting. Case in point, I bought two 12 by 12 by 3 square blanks of what was sold to me as Ambrosia Maple several years back on eBay. I haven't turned them yet. But I got them off of eBay, and I can't see any trace of ambrosia beetle anywhere in those pieces of maple. It's pretty maple, it's nice hard wood, but it was sold as ambrosia, and I don't see any traces of ambrosia. There's no stain, nothing. So you have to be careful. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing the people that prefer to only turn pristine stock. Not at all. That's not my point. My point is, if you want to turn and you're getting into turning, or you've been turning for a while, it doesn't matter. What we end up doing is pretty much using the wood that we can afford. And that's what we're talking about here, wood choice and wood selection. Wood selection is a little bit different. Wood selection is trying to figure out what woods will go better with what other woods in a particular project. And Shawn at Wortheffort, or Wortheffort.com, his YouTube channel is Wortheffort. Shawn did an excellent expose on wood selection and wood matching in a recent video, and I'll put a link to that below, and I encourage you to go check that out. So, sorry for the rambling. Just wanted to talk a little bit about some of your choices for where you're going to get wood and how you're going to do it. There's all kinds of videos. Shawn at Wortheffort.com shows some really good how-tos on how to prepare wood from logs that you're going to be turning. Him and his dad are excellent turners, very knowledgeable people. You can believe everything Shawn has to tell you. All kinds of others. Sam Angelo, the Wyoming wood turner, has showed you how to prepare logs. The point I'm trying to make here, really, in this turn talk, is if you really want to turn what you can find. Don't waste money that you can't afford on buying high-dollar turning stock when there's readily available stuff out there if you're willing to look. Just use your money wisely. And no, I don't mean for buying new tools, unless it's something that you just have to have. But you can be frugal. Okay, some call me cheap, that's fine. But you can be frugal and still be a turner. Once people find out what you're doing, I constantly have people coming to me and calling me, Billy, come pick this wood up. Sure, I don't have a problem with that at all. If some of it is unusable, I don't say, oh, I can't use that and leave it laying there. No, I load everything they're wanting to give me in the back of my truck and I bring it home. And what's not worth turning, it's always good for the fire pit or for throwing in my smoker. See? Everybody wins, especially me. My next project is on the workbench, getting ready to be finished sanded. It's my second carved sign, and hot on its heels is my second multi-axis box that I haven't started yet. I haven't forgot about you. I'll be hitting it next as soon as I finish up that sign, or as I'm waiting on stuff to dry. This is going on the lathe, and I'm going to get the three-sided part of it turned. The only thing I haven't decided yet, I would like to make this one with a twist. So thanks for watching, y'all. Come back and see us. I really appreciate y'all watching. I I can't express enough. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. I know that's not many, but I'm excited about that. And I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing. And I appreciate it. Share it, like it, subscribe, please, if you haven't already. And come back to the Messy Studio and see what we're doing. You never know what's going to happen here. You're liable to see all kinds of things. Some you might like,